Well, that's a tough one. I want to say eventually one day you're going to lose, or you can't win them all, or some generic statement like that. However, I want to say that based off last week, what I saw against Sassuolo, we didn't fix those issues. And to me, that number one thing was the balance. And that comes from the midfield as well as the heart of the defense. There's a lot of work to do. But before we get into that, let's go over some play-by-play here. Bring up my notes. So, first 35 minutes, not much of anything really. Back and forth, but like nothing substantial. Wasn't great play. We weren't holding on to possession. And then out of nowhere, Pellegrini hits that back heel. It was a magical goal, to be honest. And then sixth of the season, third of the week. Incredible thinking from him, and just something totally outside the box. And I don't mean that literally. I mean outside the box thinking. And just a lot of ingenuity for him to get that. And I don't know if you could ask anything more of what he's been offering us this season so far, except that he's been fantastic. And sometimes you need those players who can take players on one-on-one and make something happen out of nothing. He provides that. However, we can't back him up. The rest of the 10 and all the field players today just couldn't muster that up as well as what Pellegrini did for us there. Okay, so back and forth opening half hour. Verona really trying to impress their new coach. Of course, always how it happens, right? We always get a team like when they're going to try and impress their new manager. It feels like that's just a theme here. And they really start to make Roma suffer. Karsdorp did a good job tracking back on a few occasions. Jordan picks up a yellow, and as did Verona. So we get 2 yellow cards right off the bat, one for each in the first 40 minutes. We end the half with 143 passes, accuracy of just 75%. We committed 7 fouls and covered just about the same amount of distance as Verona did. We had only 1 attempt on target, though, for the entire first half. That's an issue. If you cannot create goal-scoring opportunities, we're not going to win games. You don't need some genius to tell you that. In the second half, Barak scores in the 48th minute. Caprari places it in almost off of the deflection, and he puts it away. So he puts it right into the left corner. Impossible for Rui to get on the end of that one. And then Qatar here, I'm not sure what that means, and makes it to the 1 after scoring his 4th goal against Roma. Yeah, Caprari scored his 4th goal against Roma of his career. It would have been cheaper at this point just to keep the kid on the bench for us compared to the damage that he's done to us since leaving in 2011. It's unbelievable. But we get the second goal there. It's a great transition as the ball is hit into Abraham in the middle of the pitch, who lays it off to Pellegrini. I like that one too. And Abraham smashes into the box, and we get that own goal. At that point in time, there were 3 players in the box. You had Zaniolo, Pellegrini, and Abraham all getting inside the box. And when you put numbers in, good things are going to happen. It was an excellent transition, I thought, there. Then it becomes 3-2. David Farioni scores, and that was an incredible volley. Can't take nothing away from him. Volley to himself. And Jose Mourinho immediately puts in El Shaarawy and then Mickey for Eldor. And from that on, we go on an all-out attack. In the 72nd minute, Rui Patricio saves the match again, or he pushes it wide. That was a really good save on his part. He did everything that he could today, in my opinion. In the last 20 minutes, Mourinho goes for broke. He takes out Jordan Veretout and puts on Perez, and then Mayoral with Alfred Calafiori, and he transitions to a 3-1-4-2 with Mayoral and Tammy as those 2 strikers and Cristante protecting the defense. We can't get it done. There's a issue with the balance between the defense and the midfield supplying the attack. There's something disjointed. Perhaps we are not there yet and able to play with a 2-man midfield. Maybe that's something where we look in January and we get different options and see where we can go from there. So I think that's perhaps not a solution, but something to look forward to. And at this point in time, if we can just work on that, though, Mourinho's definitely going to go back to the drawing board after this one. Man hates to lose. He's not just going to let this go. He's not going to make excuses, perhaps the way that Fonseca would have after a match like this. In the big picture, Verona had all the enthusiasm. Igor Tudor is not a fantastic manager. He's somebody at Udinese. He didn't do a good job. However, he won the psychological battle today. He motivates Verona out the gate, no matter the sleet, the rain. they have incredible fans at home. You have to give it to Verona. Even though if we were out singing them, the Roma Tifosi, you expect that because we have the best fans in the world. However, credit to Verona today for taking it to us and not backing down, at least, the littlest bit. They just played better, and I thought that they deserved to win. And Roma, however, did not play well enough to win. Regardless of Verona, whoever the opponent was, we didn't play well enough to get 3 points. If we did get 3 points today, it would be abstract. It wouldn't be normal. I wouldn't have a good taste in my mouth. I would say, okay, we got 3 points today, but maybe next game we're not going to because of the way we played today. So something is definitely going to be worked on, I think, this week in practice. It is a very difficult September for us with the Conference League. And even though against Cisca Sofia, that was a home match, it's starting to mount up. And we are going to hopefully find that trend where we can mentally prepare and physically adapt to these situations, because we're going to have Coppa Italia too. It doesn't let up. But that's the hallmark of a great team, where you can affront every different tournament and go and win these games. It's something that we will work for. Once again, this isn't the Mourinho project. It's not the Pellegrini project. This is the Roma project. And we're going to make something good out of this. I want to go over the press conference real quick. And just before I say that, so my first video I did today was off of a new Logitech camera. And I'm trying to see the difference between the Logitech that I paid like $80 for and my iPhone that I already have. So I just want to know if it's worth it so far, the quality. But regardless, here we go into it. Straight from ASRoma.com. Davide Farionis have volley proved decisive at the Stadio Bentegodi. Pellegrini's fine back heel and Ivan Ilic's own goal, not enough for the Giallorossi to take anything away from this game. Here's what Mourinho had to say. Did you expect what just happened tonight? The reporter asks. He says, I'm always a bit preoccupied before games. It's how I experience them. I'm always focused. That's how I am. I knew that they had some attributes that make them difficult to play against. Even before they changed coaches, they caused other teams a lot of problems, and they could have got some different results. Then, when you change the coach, there's pretty often a strong reaction. Yes, absolutely. And we knew that. Tudor's approach to the game is quite similar to the one they had last season, and so it wasn't so difficult for him and the players to adjust. But I don't think we played well. That to me is the most important part. If we go any further, we didn't play well. They really dug deep to get a positive result. Mourinho continues. But we dug deep as well. I don't have anything bad to say about that, about our attitude and our desire to get a result, but we didn't play well, and we didn't adapt well to the way that they were playing. We lost a lot of individual battles. We lost out on a lot of second balls, and they had a bit more intensity in key phases of the game. I need to watch it back. I'll have to spend a few hours in front of the screen to see a few more details. To the second question. It seemed like they caused problems for you by moving down the flanks, creating passing triangles, and dragging Veretout and Cristante apart so they could play in between them. On their left, you really seemed to struggle. What was your plan to deal with that? We analyzed them before the game. We worked on these situations in training. They did that a lot last season with Miguel Veloso as the left central midfield. It wasn't a surprise to us. But we didn't deal well with the issues because it should have been one of our forwards who came back to help press their third man. Zaniolo needed to drop to help out Karsdorp, but I think that happened in the first half too, and we were 1-0 up anyway. Interesting there. I didn't pick up on that, about Zaniolo helping out more so in the defensive phase. In the second half, we talked about that issue again, and it felt to me like we were struggling to deal with these things. Even when we had the ball, too often we looked for the long ball over the top. We realized they were good in the defensive battles, and we looked for the ball over the top too often. Our passing play lacked a bit of quality, and that's true statistically. If Mourinho said it or not, you look at the statistics of this match, they weren't good. I think we had 2 total chances created, shooting opportunities, on net. And I think the passing percentage was below 80%. That is not good. Below 80%, we've got to be at least around 84. Like typical on average, 83.5. So you want to get to 84, maybe even 85. But anyway, I don't want to get into the mud so far on that one. And those great details. As for the 3 goals, I was too far away to see all the details, but I got that feeling that in the first 15 minutes of our second half, our center midfield struggled to really get on the ball and get control of the game, and thus struggled to create much. That also showed statistically. Could Roma have done a better job of managing the game? And this is the last question. In the early parts of the second half. He answers, we knew there would be a reaction. They weren't playing badly. They were at home. It was only 1-0. There was still everything to play for. And as you know, there is always an end a team prefers to attack. It wasn't a surprise for us that they came out strongly. Okay, we need to do better at managing these moments. I always say that you can never expect to dominate the entire game. But even when you do, you're going to have to get through a few difficult moments. But we had lots of one-on-one moments in attack where if we won the duels, we could have really hurt our opponents. But we needed to get more of the ball. Veretout was really hampered by the yellow card he picked up. For any player who plays in that part of the pitch, the yellow card came too early, and it meant there was a bit of fear with a few challenges. But to really go into specifics, I need to watch the game back, because it's one thing to have a few feelings about a game, and another to really analyze it. And what will separate the good managers from the great managers is, like what Mourinho just said, actually really analyzing it, going to those details. Who didn't drop back? Where did we get out triangled? Or, the shape was just too much and they overloaded us in a 3v2 or a 4v3. So we go back to the drawing board. I want to see what our schedule looks like. I believe our next game is Udinese, and it's the 23rd. So in just 4 short days, we have Udinese on the horizon, and then 6 days after that, we have the derby. Oh my gosh. I'm going to be with Italian Football TV for the derby. So on that live stream, I'll be over there in Brooklyn. Hopefully you'll be able to watch that as well. If anyone wants to, jump in on some comments right now, I see you've got a couple of viewers. I don't know, I'm talking plural. We, to me. If there's anyone to give credit to today, I really think that it's Pellegrini. And he was my man of the match. Regardless if we lost, he was the best player on the pitch. He was continuous. There was one play where he could have dished it off. That's one area of his game that he needs to work on, is his distribution in the final third. However, he made everything happen today. Even the second goal comes from him going down the wing and playing the ball in. It doesn't happen without him. He was our catalyst. If we were going to get anything, it was coming from Pellegrini today. What else? We need to work on that midfield. Outside backs. Calafiore, he was fine today. Yeah, perhaps Karsdorp did get outnumbered. But leave some comments. Let me know what you think. And I'll have a follow-up video coming, preview later in the week. Thanks, guys.